All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the 15th episode for The Walking Dead Season 9. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not we think Michonne will take RJ and Judith with her when she leaves. Alright, so absolutely incredible episode was episode 14, and we also did our predictions for what we think is going to happen in The Walking Dead Season 9, episode 15, which is sort of our season finale or our lead up to, the big episode, and then 16 will be kind of a carryover from that, right? So it's kind of like a double finale, because episode 15 should be awesome. But in this one, I thought we would start things off with giving our thoughts on next season, because of course, episode 14 was a huge concentration on Michonne. It was probably the best episode of Michonne for the whole series in terms of like a character spotlight episode. I mean, and not everybody, I've read the comments now, got your guys' kind of reactions from it. Not everybody really loved the episode. Some people said, it was boring, whatever. I mean, I thought it was amazing. I mean, from the very start, getting to see after Rick had left and getting to see, because I wanted to see that stuff, and they skipped it over earlier. And it was like we didn't get a chance to see what Michonne did or what Daryl did right after. We had to kind of fill in the blanks ourselves. And that episode 14 was special for me because we actually got to see her looking for Rick. We got to see Daryl looking for Rick right after, within the pregnancy time of him leaving. So within the 8 months or whatever it is after Rick had left, we saw them out looking for him. And earlier on, we see her less pregnant as she's looking, and then more and more so. And then Daryl even kind of calls it out that, he's going to keep looking, but she's going to have to stop at some point soon because, she's getting close to being ready to deliver. So, man, this one, I thought episode 14 was really, really an amazing episode. And I can't stress that enough. So what's going to happen with Michonne after this? So we got kind of a Michonne tribute episode, a character-focused episode in episode 14. 2 episodes left of this season. She'll be there, but obviously it's not going to be like episode 14 where we got to see her really leading the episode and Daryl and Judith in there involved as kind of support and her basically being the main character for episode 14. 2 episodes left, and then next season, season 10. So what do we know? We know that she has not signed a very long contract from the sounds of things. I don't think it's a whole season contract. I think it would be somewhat similar to what they've done in the past with, Rick and Maggie, or with Andrew Lincoln and Lauren Cohen, where they sign like 5 episodes or 6 episodes or whatever it ends up being. And then they, so for Michonne, something like that in season 10. So we haven't seen the last of her, obviously. She'll be in these last 2 episodes. In season 10, she'll probably be in the first 5 or 6 or something out of that season, or the first half, maybe, of The Walking Dead season 10. But after that, at some point, she's probably going to leave, right? She's going to leave. And they kind of set it up in this episode, which is what I wanted to go through first. Matt Craker says they've officially set up Michonne's exit to track down Rick. It was discussed in that conversation with Jocelyn. And it basically is, we get the sense that, at some point here, Michonne is not going to be able to live with it, as Connie and Daryl were kind of talking about living with it with what happened with Lydia. At some point, she's not going to be able to, and she's going to want to go off and find Rick. Now, will that be mid-Whispers? Will that be after? We'll have to see how the timing works out. I tend to think that she'd probably help fight the Whisper battle first before she leaves, but maybe if they're able to take out Alpha or something, then she'll think, okay, we got him, it's good, everything's taken care of, and I know what I need to do now, and that's I need to go find Rick. So who will she bring with her when she leaves here in season 10? Basically it's her immediate family. I wouldn't expect anyone else to go with her from Alexandria. I would expect them to all stay and for her to want them to stay. So she'll probably bring, it's kind of tricky, to say, okay, well, will she bring Judith and RJ? What if it's very dangerous? And if she knows she's going to get into some very dangerous spots when she goes, she may ask for them to stay, right, as she goes off to find Rick. Also, things have changed with her in this episode. Episode 14 is pretty crucial in that Judith has brought to her another viewpoint, which is the way Judith considers it, which is if you don't go out and look for those, then that, for her, that means that it's simplified. It's oversimplified because she's a kid, right? But if you love someone, you're going to do anything to find them. You're going to go out there, fight 100 battles or 1,000 battles or whatever you need to do, put yourself in dangerous situations. You'll basically do anything for them. You'll do anything to save them. And that's a bit of a simplistic viewpoint that you would see something like a child have, and it's something that that at the end of the episode, Michonne decides to, that makes sense. So with following that same kind of thinking trajectory, if she's going to follow Rick to the ends of the earth, then she's got to go, right? She can't stay. So it is set up perfectly. It's set up perfectly for her to leave. And though I didn't think that they knew that she was going to go, it's probably just kind of a coincidence that it works out that way, that the story is such that she's recently changed with Judith's perspective here, and that she's probably going to do that. So will she bring Judith and RJ with her? Judith, I kind of feel like Judith has to stay in the main show. Even though she is Michonne's daughter and Michonne's raised her and everything, and mommy and everything, even still, I feel like she can't. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could bring her out of the series, but then you're losing another huge character in the show, right? For the original Walking Dead, and RJ as well too. Well, first of all, not everybody agrees that RJ is real. A lot of people are really defensive of it because they want RJ to be real, and they think it's stupid that people would even consider that after the stab or something, Michonne would lose RJ, and it would all be a manifestation of her, of her mind, and because other people have talked about it too. Daryl's talked about it. Carol's talked about RJ. So right now I'm still on the side that I think RJ is real, but definitely the other side too is. It's got somewhat of of support from what I'm seeing in the comments. So will RJ go with her? Well, if RJ's not real, then definitely RJ's going to go with her no matter what, right? Because then it's even maybe if RJ's not real, maybe that we can't say that because maybe she would still in her mind want RJ to stay there, and people would just be like, oh, okay, Michonne, no problem, we'll take care of this. We get it. And maybe everyone else does too, and that's why they keep talking about RJ and acting like RJ is. Because there's certain important scenes there, like where you have Judith and Michonne, and they're holding hands and stuff like that, and RJ's not there as sort of part of the representative family, which is just a bit odd, right? Sometimes. So maybe it's nothing, maybe it's something. People get very aggressive about this, so I don't want to. I'm not an RJ is faker, if that's a thing. I guess it's not a thing, but it could become a thing if people want to make it that. Right? It's not currently a thing, but I'm not a member of the camp of the RJ is not real. I'm just simply pointing out that the stab in the side and Sadiq being so concerned when he sees her that it's like I viewed it as kind of another sort of thing that people could point to try to make a point that maybe he's still not real. So maybe Michonne leaves on her own. Maybe that's how things go. And RJ and Judith have to stay in Alexandria, and they have to stay there as part of the main series to represent the show. That said, could she bring Judith with her? I guess so. RJ does seem pretty young. But also, Judith is still pretty young too. And to go on the road like that in the open for however long it takes to go find Rick, man, I don't know, right? It's kind of tricky. So leave a comment below. Let me know where you guys are at with that one. I guess my prediction is that she'll probably leave by herself and leave RJ and Judith there because she'll view it as not safe for them. So they kind of have to stay behind. Maybe Aaron will be the one to look after Judith or something after that as her guardian. Something like that. Leave a comment, though. Let me know what you guys think. 55 Bueller says, making RJ not real would be effing moronic at this point. See, so people don't like it. They don't like this theory because what it would mean is, it would mean that, RJ was killed off, basically, from that stab. And it just wouldn't, story-wise, they wouldn't like it. So at all. He is clearly real. This was a fantastic episode. Yes, I agree. It absolutely was. And, when she got stabbed in the side too, very, very, shocking and oh my God, crazy stuff. Because I think everybody wants RJ, right? They want him to be there. So that's why a lot of this is what it is. Brian Achim says, did Scott have a kid? When did he get a kid? LOL. So someone said during the 7.5-year time skip, right? So yeah, that's true. That makes sense. And see, he's a good example of somebody who's not really a fighter. I can't remember any time when he actually left Alexandria to go and fight or do stuff like that. He's always just kind of been one of those characters that's just there. So it's what it is. But, you'd like to think eventually they do something with him, but they never really have. A little bit, just a little. I'm Joker28 says, bet that kid that got away will be the new Morales, right? No, I don't think so. But Ebagtv said he would be a good whisperer. And also he'd be older now, too, than he was in that scene. He would be he would be perfect for the Whisperers, right? After, in the way they do things after Jocelyn. He would fit in almost too well. And also, if we saw him now, he'd be like 5 or 6 years older than he was at that point. So he'd be a little bit older. He might be around Henry's age or a little bit younger than Henry, maybe, something like that. And so he could be a good villain character as well, too, right? I'm not sure if they did that. And if we're going to see, his name's Winnie, right? I don't know if we're going to see Winnie come back as a villain as part of the Whispers, but that could be a good sort of age-type adversary for someone like Henry or something like that. So that could be cool. But in all likelihood, we probably won't see him again, although I do think that it could be cool to see him again. Peter Francis says, you are talking BS, of course. RJ is real because Michonne got cut in her stomach. You think RJ ain't real. There are people, he used the wrong there, too. It's E. I'm going to fix it just because that annoys me. Use the right there, bro. Are people out there, okay, now he used the right there, who don't want RJ to be real. I hope he puts a U instead of Y-O-U. I hope you ain't one of those. Okay. I'm not going to be a grammar Nazi here. I'm not one of those. I'm not. But at the same time, I see both sides of things. And, I saw that as sort of like a thing where, you could kind of go both ways with that one. And you could still probably go both ways with it. So as often as we see RJ with others and people mention RJ and everything like that, and then you think like, okay, it's guaranteed real 100%. Then something happens like the stab after where it's like it brings you back the other way. And then Sadiq sees her and he's like, oh, shit, she's going to lose it. This isn't good. We need to get you right away and stop that bleeding or whatever, right? Because that could, it could be bad. It depends how far in it went, right? That's the big thing. Was it on the surface? Did it go in far? Like how far? That's the big thing, right? Nobody wants that. Mordecai The Awesome BlueJay says, this season is actually pretty good so far. Not many people will agree with me, but I like it. Well, actually, most people do agree with you. It's actually one of the highest rated seasons. I think it actually, up until recently, is the highest rated season of The Walking Dead ever, only besting out or beating on, was it Rotten Tomatoes? Yeah, Rotten Tomatoes, besting Season 5. So if the season wraps up strong, it could go down as the best season of The Walking Dead ever, according to critics or according to reviews, right? So everyone's got their own opinion, and that's fine, but I don't think you can say that it's the worst season. It's definitely not. It's definitely an awesome season, and I've been endlessly impressed with it after Rick's leave because I didn't think I would enjoy it this much as I still do. It's crazy. Tess Padmore says, yep, this was Michonne episode, and I loved it. So I'm happy for Tess that she liked it. I did too. Tashan Holloway says, this episode was awesome. Easily one of the best of the series. Denai nailed it. RJ is so adorable. And so is Judith, right? Huntress Snow says, how sick was tonight's episode? Next week's episode is going to be insane. Yeah, I can't wait. And then Brent, Ontario, Canada, with our last one, will say, the end of this episode was good because she had to kill them all. I felt how much she didn't want to kill anyone, but she had to save Judith. But if you take out the end, it was a bad episode. Come on, guys, really? So you can't take out the end of the episode and have it work. Like, you know what I mean? You can't be like, well, if we score it without the ending, it's like it all builds up to the ending, and it all builds up to a character-defining moments for where the characters are at right now. That's the thing, is that it was such an important and crucial thing. And even the part at the beginning, you can say it was slow, but I was like on the edge of my seat trying to find out information about Rick or anything they could see about Rick or just what they did after Rick was gone. I mean, that for me was just, oh my God, man, really, really good stuff. And the intro song and everything, I thought it was brilliant, man. I thought it was amazing stuff. Okay, one last one from Never Give Up, and then we'll wrap it for this one. Absolutely shitting myself to see who Alpha beheads. So, it's a good one. So, yeah, that's coming up soon, too. We can't forget about that. So, a lot of stuff going on right now for Walking Dead. Really good stuff. And, just incredible stuff. So, yeah, we'll see what Alpha does. My prediction, like I said in my predictions video, is that she'll take one for every one they took from the Whisperers. Leave a comment below. Let me know where you guys are at. If you like this video, thumb it up below. Like it, share it, favorite it, subscribe if you're new. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another. It's Trav saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.